I am always looking to upgrade my services. Recently, one thing that I've been seeing a lot online is motion graphics. I love anything to do with creation, and as a website designer, I love design elements just as much as I love filming and editing videos. So I feel like motion graphics is the perfect middle ground of those two things. It is currently bank holiday weekend. I have 3 completely free days to just learn motion graphics. It would have been great to start this video with like a before and after of what I could do at the start of the challenge and what I could do at the end, but it would literally be a blank screen right now because I genuinely know nothing. I don't really know what the plan is for this weekend. That is my first point of call, is making a plan. What do I want to know? The first issue I ran into was deciding between After Effects and DaVinci Resolve, but after a lot of Google searches, Reddit threads and YouTube videos, I came across something that made the decision for me. I cannot believe I didn't just catch my raw reaction to that. Adobe After Effects is £20 a month. Are you lying? I literally wrote a blog article on DaVinci versus Final Cut Pro versus Premiere Pro. And the reason I don't use Premiere Pro is because it literally costs a small fortune. Okay, so my brain is pretty fried because there's like a pretty heated debate as to whether DaVinci or After Effects is better. I spent a while longer debating between the two, but realistically, I already have made my decision. Okay, I've come to a conclusion. I just need something that works with my workflow, and at this stage, that is DaVinci Resolve. And maybe this is actually a good experiment to see how DaVinci can perform and what it's like for complete beginners. I edit all of my client videos and some of my YouTube videos in DaVinci Resolve, so I do have a basic understanding of the software, but I was more just focusing on the nodes. I started with a really basic animation using a video that I just found on YouTube. I just made, how long did that even take? It took me about an hour, but I just made my first animation. Okay, so it's not the prettiest, okay, but it's the principles of how to use DaVinci that was important, okay? And I feel like I learned a lot from that 5-minute video.
Later.
I just finished the second animation and I am much prouder of this one. So this took me about 45 minutes, so we're getting quicker. Obviously this one I more like directly copied the tutorial, but it still taught me a lot. I'm really proud of this one. I'm excited for the next one. I've just had lunch, so I'm feeling refueled and ready to go, and I just found the perfect video for what I'm looking for. 52 minutes long, but I think that's perfect. Hopefully I'm gonna learn a lot. This tutorial is much harder and much more complex, which I'm actually really happy about because I will learn so much more, but I think I maybe thought that everything was this easy from the first 2 tutorials, but yeah, definitely not the case. This is definitely more complex, but this is what I wanted to learn, so.
Later.
That one took me like an hour and 45 minutes or something stupid, but I'm so proud of this. This video isn't really explaining what each thing does, so hopefully with more exposure to them, I can understand more. I kept following the same video, but I wasn't as proud of the next animation I made, but the final animation of the day redeemed itself and left me feeling a lot more confident in my progress for the day as a whole. Okay, so we are at the end of day 1. I am now putting down my laptop. I'd say 4 animations was pretty good, although that last one genuinely took, I think, nearly 2 hours, even though it kind of used similar techniques to the previous one, so on paper it should be relatively easy. I think what I realised today is that I need to focus more on how stuff works and the mechanics, because like anyone can copy a tutorial, but when I'm left to my own devices, would I actually be able to do this for a client? If I was given a brief and no visual references and had to like think of it and then put it into a project, would I be able to do that? So it is the next day and I've genuinely been like really excited to get stuck into this again. I've got one more like animation of that video that I was doing yesterday that I'm going to do as like a bit of a warm-up, but the main goal of today is learning the mechanics, the logistics, kind of like the boring stuff, so that I actually have like a base knowledge of how motion graphics work. Node trees were getting bigger and bigger and more complex, as you can see, but one habit that I really wanted to get locked down early on was making sure that everything was neat and tidy, because it really does make the process so much easier. Okay, so that was a pretty long warm-up. That was about an hour, but I'm really proud of this animation as well. So now I need to go and find a video on the logistics. I think I'm going to start with notes and just really understanding that process. I tried watching multiple videos about the basics and the logistics, but I just kind of found myself feeling bored. Okay, I just watched 2 videos and call me impatient, but I just found it quite boring, like literally boring. I was like, one of my favourite quotes is, you can read a book about how to ride a bike, or you can just get on the bike. And I feel like I just need to create more stuff and learn as I go along, rather than just watching videos on how to do it. Some might call me impatient, others might call me productive. I vote for productive. Okay, so even though it's a Sunday, today somehow got really busy and I've had like meetings and stuff, so it is now nearly 4 o'clock and I've just finished that animation that I started at like midday. I loved this tutorial. This was so helpful. He was great. I'm feeling ready to like make something on my own, and tomorrow's plan is to make stuff that I just see online without seeing the process and just trying to make it from scratch. Maybe I'm getting a bit ahead of myself, but I think that's the best way to learn, is just like throw myself in the deep end. I found another longer tutorial, like literally 45 minutes long, and I really wanted to get through as much as possible in a short amount of time, but it didn't really go to plan. I only got 7 minutes into the video, but I ended up going a bit astray and doing some animations on my own just from memory of what I've done today, and I did it right. I feel like this is a good note to end on, because when I had realised I'd only done like 2 proper animations and 1 like graph today, I was a bit demoralised, but obviously I did have like a 3-hour intermission for meetings and other stuff that I was doing, so I'll cut myself some slack. This is literally my dream. This is a perfect mix between videography and website design. This is my 2 main services if they had a baby. I love it. It is Monday, which means it is the final day of this challenge, experiment, whatever you want to call it. I don't actually really know what I want out of today as much. I just really want to consolidate the knowledge, and whatever way I can manage to do that. I don't really have a plan, and that could maybe backfire, but I also think it just creates a space for a lot of opportunity to learn different things. Unfortunately, it did the former and left me feeling like I was procrastinating and not making much progress, as I didn't have a strict plan to follow. The self-inflicted pressure is on, and I was doing another warm-up animation that was meant to take me not even 45 minutes, and for some reason it's just going wrong. So part of me is like, oh, I just want to move on, and because I need to like create my own sequence by the end of the day. But the other part of me is saying, obviously this is a really good chance to problem solve and find my own issues and solve them. So I think I'm just going to take the extra bit of time to find this issue, and then I can hopefully at some point get round to doing something of my own. No matter how many times I rewatched the tutorial, I couldn't find the root of the issue, so it sort of led me to feel even more discouraged and unproductive, as I felt like I was just running around in circles. Okay, so I genuinely could not find the mistake at all, and I did really look, but it ended up working out because I actually like the animation more when it bounces like it does, so I guess it all worked out. Now I can actually move on to making my own sequence, which I'm so excited about. For one reason or another, I didn't move on to my own animation next, and instead focused on text animations, which in retrospect is definitely very helpful for my future projects. But in the moment, it just kind of left me feeling like I was regressing, because now I'm focusing on like text animations and transitioning between clips, which feels much less cool than what I was doing on day one. So I'm sat here thinking, like, how am I going to have anything to prove for myself like at the end of this video, because there's no real improvement. It's not necessarily very linear. Like, I'm going back on myself to learn even more basic stuff than when I just jumped in the deep end on Saturday. So I don't know what the end result of today is going to be, and right now that is kind of panicking me. But I guess the whole point of learning is that it doesn't really follow one path, although I would say it is probably supposed to. Full transparency, I was definitely feeling a little discouraged at this point. So to try and make myself feel a bit more confident, I followed another tutorial because I knew it was going to give me a more tangible result. I'll be honest and admit that I was feeling a little bit demoralised today because I felt like I was just repeating the exact same stuff that I managed to do on hour 1 back on Saturday. But I just went back into the first animation I did back on Saturday. Looking at the 2 node trees side by side, it actually has made me feel a lot better because it has actually shown the progress I've made and the capabilities I now have and what I can do that I definitely couldn't have done back on Saturday. So I think it's given me a bit more motivation to finish the rest of today and see what else I can create.
Much later.
I have no idea what just came over me, but I just locked in for the last hour and 15 minutes. I literally did not look up from my screen. I didn't use any YouTube videos, just like sometimes reference some of the animations I've made over the weekend. And I just made my own animation. I basically went on Pinterest and just did what the original plan was and looked for inspiration and then went from there and then kind of just iterated off of that. Definitely want to come back later on today and like finish this off and polish it. But in an hour and a quarter, I'm so proud. I'm genuinely so proud of what I made. I will get back to you once I have polished this either tonight or first thing tomorrow. It is Tuesday and I finalised all of the videos this morning. So that is the end of this 3-day sprint through learning the basics of motion graphics. I honestly had the best time. I had so much fun, especially in davinci. I know that nodes are always like really scary to people and to me as well. Even when I've been doing like text animations in the past, I go into Fusion on like, what is this? But now I genuinely feel confident in that space and I feel like I have a really good understanding of nodes and I feel like that will help me in more ways than one in my editing process. So I'm genuinely really excited to integrate these skills that I've learned over the weekend into my projects going forward. I plan to spend hopefully up to an hour a day for the foreseeable building on these skills and learning new stuff because I really want to get to a space where I can make everything that I made over the weekend without having to rewatch a tutorial or reference something that I've made previously. As they say, it takes 10,000 hours to master a skill and I'm currently only 72 hours in, so I've got a bit of a long way to go before I am a master of motion graphics. Please go and check all of the videos that are linked in the description. Seriously, I am just dumbfounded that people are just so willing to help. Honestly, I am just so bewildered, big word, that everyone is just so helpful. Like people just make these tutorials for absolute beginners. They explain everything so well just to help people out. I'm really getting sentimental right now. I would have learned not even a quarter of what I learned this weekend if it wasn't for some of these YouTubers. Thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video.